the current state of the war, if you will, or the crisis of the Muslim Brotherhood and its inspired entities or spiritual, ideological children and grandchildren, one of which are the mullahs in Iran and their many proxies. You know, I stumbled upon an intriguing video which actually is symbolic of what's going on with the Muslim Brotherhood and what drives them and their modus operandi, if you will. This video was of Gamal Nasser, president of Egypt, and really more than that, in the 1950s and 60s, he was considered the leader, as is Egypt, considered the leader of the entire Muslim world. And he was giving a speech, a presentation to, I guess, his officers, his administration, his government officials, fairly large audience. And he was discussing how he was, I guess, trying to find some common ground, trying to find if there would be some areas of agreement between himself and the Muslims he represented in Egypt, which were moderate, forward-thinking, and certainly not terrorist in the sense of the Muslim Brotherhood, but to see if he could even find common ground with them. And he remembers the representative of the Muslim Brotherhood actually saying, what exactly can we do to help facilitate your peaceful integration into the Egyptian population and peaceful relations with the Egyptian government? As you know, well, as you may not know, the Muslim Brotherhood had been committing terrorist attacks, assassinations on Egyptian and other Arab leaders throughout the Middle East. So Gamal Nasser wanted to see what he can do to change that paradigm. And so the head of the Muslim Brotherhood said to him, you can demand that all Egyptian women wear a hijab. And Nasser was taken aback by this. Egypt was a modern country. Even to this day, some percentage, some small percentage of the population wears hijabs, but they do it on their own. They do it out of due to their own choice. They're certainly not imposed by the Egyptian government to do that. So Gamal Nasser said to him very simply, in a joust of intellectual brilliance, he said, tell me something. You have a daughter? And the Brotherhood leader said, yes. She attends university. He said, yes. He said, does she wear a hijab? And the Brotherhood representative was taken aback. And Gamal continued and he said, well, tell me something. If you can't convince your one daughter to wear a hijab, how am I going to convince tens of millions of Egyptian women, to wear the hijab? And that kind of ended the discussion. And the Brotherhood is an ideological octopus. As I said, they have relations with the mullahs in Iran, with Hezbollah, with Hamas in Gaza, and other terrorist entities, and they act almost like an arm. Well, rather, these entities, including the Iranian government, act almost like an arm of the Muslim Brotherhood ideology. This brutality and the hypocrisy of the Muslim Brotherhood is represented in so many ways. The latest manifestation is Ivanka Trump. We just our intelligence entities discovered that Ivanka Trump was indeed a target for assassination by one of these minions of the Muslim Brotherhood. And, I should not have been shocked by their potential brutality there. I should not have been shocked, even though I was, by, it seems, the self-destructive attacks. This is after February and after the conflict between the U.S., United States, Israel, and Iran, that Iran attacked several innocent Muslim countries, particularly in the Gulf states, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman, just a number of Muslim countries that did nothing to Iran, and nevertheless they did, and I was shocked by that. It was outside of the strategic box, but I shouldn't have been because everybody or many folk want, particularly on social media and in mainstream media, talk about the struggle between Israel, who they call Little Satan, the United States, they call Big Satan, and Iran. But the reality is Iran has a bigger target than just Israel, the United States, the Gulf states. Their target is civilization itself. Their target is peace. Their target and their allied proxies, are want to attack and have attacked the Abraham Accords. And the reason is it's again a part of their philosophy that they would prefer to have military conflict, sanctions on their country, than to actually have a peace in the region that the Abraham Accords promised. They want to sow chaos. They want to sow disorder, economic instability, not just for the region, but with their closing of the Strait of Hormuz, the entire world. And that's their agenda. And I should not have not known that this is what they would do. It is for these reasons that I think that President Trump, who of course is contemplating all kinds of, he's a negotiator, so this is his modus operandi. He's contemplating potential quote deals with Iran. But I would caution respectfully and with great hope in President Trump, I would respectfully disagree with that posture. I think President Trump has to finish the military job. He must undermine the ability, he must, one, undermine the ability of Iran to have the facility to go towards a nuclear weapon. Two, he must get them to release the Strait of Hormuz that existed in January of 2026, which is open for commercial traffic. He must truly decapitate not just some mullahs, but the entire regime. This is the only way that we can get the world back on track to the historic Abraham Accords, for which this network has been named. It is most important. He cannot listen to the counsel of those who say, hey, look at the 2026 off-year election. If we're still in war, then we're going to lose the House, potentially lose the Senate. A president has many considerations. Politics is certainly one of them, but it is not the most profound of decisions. The most profound decision that the world and history will look back on will be his decision to carry on, his decision to continue undermining and unplugging the mullahs in Iran. He does so not just for the United States, not just for the Gulf states, not just for Israel, but for the Iranian people themselves that are crying for freedom and that have cried for freedom in the past, but are too terrified to cry for freedom in the future for fear of getting massacred like tens of thousands of them did before. So, Mr. President, I beg you to keep up the good fight, to keep up the good fight of our extraordinary military, and do what needs to be done to finish the job. Thank you, and God bless you. And I'll close this commentary with the words of my father, which are quite appropriate right now. He said, Niger, I want you to live your life with TLC, the TLC principle. And I said, tender love and care? He said, no, truth, logic, and courage. And that's what we do here at Niger Innis Presents the Trump Revolution. And this is what we do at the entire TvAbraham network that I'm so proud to be a part of. Thank you so much for watching and listening tonight. We'll see you again very, very soon with another guest that can go into deeper detail about some of the issues we discussed tonight. Thank you and God bless.